great question. So as I mentioned, the Act requires UK platforms to take action to prevent harm, to prevent illegal harms, to protect their users from illegal content. And Ofcom has already kind of published how its expectations about how platforms can go about that with the illegal harm statement that we published last December. We're also, UK platforms also have responsibilities to protect children, and we'll be publishing that statement and the codes of practice and the guidance in April, so later this month. So the foundational steps are drawn from those codes, so from the legal harms codes and the protection of children codes, because what we wanted to do is basically have kind of take the relevant ones from the perspective of women and girls harm. However, the guidance, as kind of instructed by the law, is also about going further. It's about raising the ceiling when it comes to online safety, and especially protecting women and girls. And so we have kind of 40 additional steps, and we call those good practice steps. So different than the foundational steps, which are linked to the codes. And what we've done here is that we've drawn on kind of industry, what industry is already doing. So, for example, we know that some dating platforms are already, using privacy detectors to limit with cyber flashing. We know that some dating platforms are already using deterrence messaging to prevent, harmful communication between users. So we've kind of done a survey of industry and identified what they're already doing in terms of kind of additional good practice. We've also looked at academic research. We've also drawn on like the kind of extensive work from civil society because there's an extensive body of research there. And we've also kind of drawn on what we heard from victims and survivors, kind of women and girls with lived experience about understanding what they want to see from platforms. And so we don't expect, as I mentioned, all services to implement all good practices, but we have set out the ones that we think kind of are worth kind of looking at for platforms. And our expectation, kind of our position is that we don't think, it's good enough for services to do the bare minimum. So we expect them to draw on the guidance and to kind of, like I said, raise the ceiling when it comes to women and girls online safety, to really try to first build an understanding of how the experience of a woman online differs from that of a male user, and then kind of what are the harms that happen and how they can do to prevent that harm, but then support women after that harm happens. And our plan is to report on how platforms are tackling these harms around 18 months after the publication of the final guidance. So that will be around mid 2027. And so we'll kind of set out which platforms have taken proactive steps to protect women and girls, which haven't. And our aim here is also, by publishing this report, we also hope to kind of help inform the public and making informed decisions about which platforms, have women and girls online safety in mind.